Hey, hi all. How you guys doing today? So today we will learn jQuery class selectors. So in last video we have learned jQuery ID selectors and jQuery tag selectors. So in today's video we're going to take a look into classes, how we can use classes to select an elements. So if you did not watch those, uh, I would recommend uh, go in my channel and search for those. You will see and you will understand those concepts also. And do not forget to subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon so that you will not miss any new notifications from my side. And if you like the video, hit the like button, share the video to your friends. Let's get dive into jQuery class selectors. So I have wrote down all these methods actually. So I'll just comment out one by one and I'll explain you how it goes. So first of all, class selector is what do you mean by class selector? So in last video, how we have passed the tag names in the element selector method. So the same way you need to pass the class names in the element selector method. So this is the element selector method of jQuery, and instead of tag name or ID, you just need to pass the class name. But there is a difference. So while we pass ID, we used to give hash, but now here we need to give the dot. So if we give the dot, jQuery will understand that this is a class name and it will select or it will hit that query on a HTML page or a document to select videos based on those class names. Sorry, select elements based on those class names. So we'll go and say inspect the console. So you can see there is one div which has in this class name output container. Okay. So this is one way, and we have, like, as we saw right in the uh, ID selector video also, there are many variants of it, right? So the same way we have variants of class name selector also. So now what it will do? It will now the second query will do selects divs which has this class name. Okay. So what we are doing, we are explicitly telling jQuery that I want divs only with these class names. Okay. So if you look at the console window, you will see the same result, right? So div with output container as a class name. There is second way also. There is another way, like where you can select elements based on its descendants, right? So you need to give the parent first and then its child. So it will select the child element. Div with output container. Let me see if we have that class name output container. And okay, let me remove this class. Let me give only output container and then output container child. Why it is not selecting those? Okay, sorry, I actually forgot that I need to comment it out this also, because it is setting the inner HTML of that output container. Okay, so now if you head over to this, you will see the output container child. Okay, so why we saw this, right? So we have given as a parent the parent element first and then the child element. So what jQuery will look, jQuery will look for the descendants of this parent element. Okay, so descendants with this class name. So there might be multiple descendants with the same class name, so it will select all of those. Okay, so this is a descendant selector, and then we have another one, multiple element selections based on class, right? So we are selecting multiple elements based on the class name. So I will select buttons also. Okay, so you can see there are two divs and four buttons, right? So the length is 6. So what we are doing, we are explicitly telling jQuery that, I want these many elements, like find out the elements for me based on these many classes. Okay, these many class names. So what jQuery will do, jQuery will find out all of these elements based on their class names, right? It will give you the list. Then we have another one, multiple class names, right? So some divs may have multiple classes. So what we can do, we can just chain those classes, right? So this is the class chaining. After one class, we are giving dot and giving second class, right? So it will find out, all elements which has these two classes, right? So you see, this is the output container which has two classes. The first one is output container child, and the second one is test, right? So this is how it works. Another variant is whatever the next siblings, right? So finding out the next siblings, right? So we have adjacent div. We'll add this adjacent div, right? So first, so let me add this adjacent div to this output container with a class name adjacent div. Now you will see it finds the adjacent div of its, whatever we have given at the first place, right? So this is the adjacent div, and adjacent div for this output container, right? The next sibling, and this actually variant we use to find the direct child. Okay, so now if you look at this, it is finding the direct child of that output container. Okay, so what is the child of that output container? So this is the output container div, and its child is this div. Okay, so if you want to look for buttons also, it will find out the buttons, but buttons are not the direct child of this output container. So that's the reason it is not giving any result, right? So this is the direct child, and as I showed you in the last video, first child, last child, and nth child, right? And then we have odd and even also, right? So if you want more info on this, just go and watch my last video, and I'll show you results at once. So first, in first query, what we did, in first query, we tried to find the first element, like the button first element, right? So what this query will do, it will reach out to the parent of this button element. Okay, so what could be the parent of this button element? The button element parent is output container child, right? So it will reach out to this parent and then query on this parent to find its children's. So among those children, it will give us the first child. Okay, the same thing it is doing with this, right? The last child also. So you can see the last child is button 4, and then we have, nth child. So here nth child means I want this numbered child. Okay, so it is finding me the third child also. You see, this is the third child, and then odd and even. So odd and even means whenever we try to multiply any number and we got remainder as 1, then it will become odd number, and then uh, right, so you see, this is the even number. So 1 and 3. So when we try to divide it by 2, it will give us a remainder, right? So it becomes a even number. But what is odd number? Odd number means we can able to divide it by 2. So number 2 button and number 4 button is visible over here in the odd condition, you see. And in the even condition, we have, number first element and number third element, right? So this is the third element. So the length is 2, right? So now we actually iterate through all of these methods, right? And then we understood each and every method by looking at the example of it, right? So if you have any doubts, you can clear on those you can comment them out in the comment section, right? So I'll reach out to those comments and I will answer those. And if you like the video, just hit like button and share the video, and do not forget to subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you all guys. Have a good day.